not to lose your soul as a creative professional. That's what the two characters in this book symbolize. On the one hand, you have the architect Peter Keating. He is constantly seeking approval and he's following the path that society has carved out for him. The path that society already labeled as success. While his architect friend Howard Roark is all about self-expression and what he wants to create. He doesn't listen to anyone else and he has a certain vision about how the world and how buildings and architecture should be. And he's not going to give up on his vision. What is success? Is it choosing your own path and following this even though everyone else around you might be telling you that it's the wrong path? Or is it the path that society labeled as successful? This story is happening in the 1920s in New York. And while Peter Keating is constantly chasing the best jobs that he knows that people will look up to him when he finishes this building, sometimes he gets himself a job that he's not even able to finish. And at those moments he calls up his old friend Howard Roark to ask him if he could help him a hand. And Howard Roark is actually able to create the best and most beautiful buildings. And this is where the power lies. Howard Roark only creates the buildings that he wants to create. And that's very powerful when you know you're capable of something, but just for your own principles you're not doing it because it's not in line with your own integrity and your own vision. So while throughout the story it looks like Peter Keating is slowly becoming more successful, Howard Roark is mostly just working in the mine and waiting at this little tiny office for another job to come in. But for months and months there's just no jobs. But he stays strong and keeps holding on to his vision of what a perfect building could look like, because he is not like Peter selling his soul because he knows what the people want and he's giving it to them. No, he is only creating what is in line with his vision. In this book, Ayn Rand tried to create what her vision of a hero was. So someone who is egocentric, productive and holding on to his integrity, to his vision. Eventually the story unfolds and Howard Roark becomes successful. He creates his skyscraper and this is the final scene of the book where he's going up and up and up into the biggest and most beautiful skyscraper of the world. While Peter, his old friend, got married to a beautiful woman that he doesn't love, but he's together with her because he knows that a lot of people look up to her, so it gives him status. And deep inside he's just absolutely unhappy. First, I really admired Howard Roark for holding strongly onto his vision, but this is just a story and I think the reality is somewhere in the middle. We shouldn't forget that we are also just hairless apes that are seeking status, and that's just a part of ourselves that we shouldn't ignore. I do really admire Howard Roark for holding on to his vision and not giving in to what other people want him to create. Pacing and leading, seek to understand then to be understood. They say the same thing. First, look at what other people want, and then after you've created this critical mass as a creator, you're going to change into the Howard Roark, just following his own vision. And the importance here is just not to lose your original and own vision, because it will be created and merged and morphed by what you are doing to connect to the people. So I think the answer to not losing your soul as a creative person is to do both. Howard Roark could have been successful way earlier in the story if he first was pacing and listening to other people and what they want and caring about them, because he is a really good architect. So my main takeaway from this story is that it's admirable to have your own vision, but it's also important to listen to what other people need, and that is something that no one in this whole book is doing. And if you're a creative person and you also feel this struggle to express what's inside of you, but it is not received by society, and you're trying to sell your soul, or you're in the process of selling your soul, I'm really curious about how you're going about this process. So let me know in the comments and I will see you in the next video.